What's up, Broncos Country? Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown. I'm your host, Matthew Peterson. On today's show, I kind of rounded up all the latest rumors surrounding Denver and condensed them to one video so you guys can get all of your news and rumors in one spot. So, coming up on today's show, is Vic Fangio done in Denver? Is it basically just a walking dead man? And are the Broncos going to clean house? We'll look through that. Also, could this be Drew Lock's final game as a Bronco this upcoming Sunday, Week 18 against the Chiefs? And speaking of Week 18, should fans be boycotting this game? All these rumors are coming up. So before we get into the first story, I want to go off that last point right there. Would you go to Week 18? Would you spend the money? Would you put out the time and sit in the cold? Let me know. I mean, I never really thought it would be a bad thing to go to a Denver Broncos game, but I got to ask the question. Give me a G for go or a P for pass. Going back to Vic Fangio, though, is he done in Denver? Well, it was a complete embarrassment on Sunday. Go to the Chargers Stadium, and also, shout out to everyone that went to that game because there was more orange than Chargers fans in that crowd. No doubt about it. Broncos Country always travels super well. But for Vic Fangio, this marks 3 straight years of losing football. And the offense has not shown much change or progression. And I get it. He has not been dealt an easy hand at the quarterback spot, which ultimately is the most important spot on the field. If you don't have the quarterback right, then nothing else matters. And you've seen that. You can have a great defense or a really crappy special teams. But if you're missing a quarterback, nothing else will matter. Now, Ian Rappaport, he had this to say going into Sunday's game about where Vic Fangio's job status currently is. There has been no firm decision on Coach Vic Fangio, but it's safe to say his future is firmly up in the air. According to several sources with knowledge of the situation, Fangio didn't make the playoffs in his first 2 seasons, and it's headed that way for a third. Having 14 players currently on the COVID list doesn't help his cause to finish over 500. Well, I'll tell you right now, Ian, they did not finish over 500. It was an embarrassing, actually, performance for the Broncos. Truly was. I wouldn't say the Chargers are little brothers, but you got to put up a better fight than what the Broncos did. And that's really what it boils down to. So I want to ask this question to you guys. Should the Broncos fire Vic Fangio? This is the pinned comment on the video. So if a YouTube ad break hits you right now, scroll on down, drop your Y's for yes or your N's for no. If you don't fire Vic Fangio, that's a huge gamble on getting a Russell Wilson or an Aaron Rodgers-esque quarterback. Because I can get behind a Vic Fangio head coach team with a better offensive coordinator and an upgrade at quarterback. I can actually sell myself on that a little bit. I can fall asleep to that idea. But let's say Russell Wilson says, I'm not leaving Seattle. And let's say Aaron Rodgers and the Packers win the Super Bowl and Rodgers goes, let's run it back. At this point, it's too late because Black Monday is a week from today. You got to make a coaching hire soon. You want to go do the same thing again? You want to keep Vic Fangio for a rookie quarterback? This is not a coach that really seems to me like he could grow and mentor a young quarterback. But I'll tell you this much. If Vic Fangio goes, so will his staff. So you don't have to worry about Vic Fangio going, but Pat Shurmur staying. If they're cleaning house, everyone is going except for GM George Paton because he's the one that's going to get out the broom. He's the one that's going to be cleaning up the mess, so he's going to stay. He's had home run picks so far, and I think Pat Surtain, Javonte Williams, Quinn Miners, a lot of these younger guys have been phenomenal under him so far. Free agency-wise, Bridgewater hasn't really worked out super well. I think we can all agree to say that, but that was more of Fangio's pick than GM's pick from what I've heard, and Kyle Fuller hasn't been a boom signing, but you can't hit them all, so I won't be too harsh on him in that regard, but he's been hitting his draft picks so far. Speaking of the draft, we're going to have Broncos coverage all year long. So if you want Broncos rumors throughout the offseason regarding trade rumors and free agency and the upcoming draft, then this is your one-stop shop for all that. So join the channel, and if you've already subscribed, we appreciate you being a part of the breakdown. It's all because of you guys, so make sure you hit that big red button and subscribe. The next story on today's show is Drew Lock going to be playing in his final game as a Bronco this upcoming Sunday. I think it's trending that direction for a couple reasons. One, if the Broncos release Drew Lock before June 1st, they would be saving themselves a little over $1.4 million. That's not a ton of money, but it's not bad money. I mean, who would turn that down? So, and then the other side of things is I don't think Drew Lock wants to stick around to be a backup for 2 straight seasons. My guess is the two sides will come together and go, let's move some money around. Let's do what GMs and agents do that I don't understand and make it work so Drew Lock can be a free agent, go to a team that wants a competing starting quarterback, maybe like the Carolina Panthers, okay? They have had a run-of-the-mill quarterbacks. Maybe they want to bring Drew Lock in. But I think both sides would agree that this is not working. Now, Drew Lock in his career, the numbers speak for themselves. 20 starts. The completion percentage is probably the biggest thing that jumps out to me. The lack of growth in that department of just being inaccurate. And I'm all for the gunslinger, bomb it down the field. Either we're catching it, the other team's catching it, or it's going to hit the ground. But it just hasn't worked out like you would have hoped when you draft someone second overall. But speaking of Drew Lock, second overall, do you want him to return for 2020? A lot of Broncos fans were clamoring for this guy to get on the field weeks ago before Bridgewater got hurt. He's been on the field for 2 straight weeks, and you haven't seen anything in there that makes you think, yeah, let's run it back. Let's give this another shot. We were wrong as a front office and as a coaching staff to pick Bridgewater over Lock. Let's see what he can do next year on a cheap rookie deal. And that's why I think both sides should agree to just shake hands and move on, because Lock wants to get to a spot where he can compete for a starting role and not be holding a clipboard for most of the season. And the Broncos, if let's say they fire Fangio, you got a new coach, you got a new offensive coordinator in there. They don't want to inherit the previous regime's mistake of a second-round pick. I think both sides will agree, let's just take our losses and go separate ways. We'll get to our third and final story in just a second, but look at this awesome polo that's on sale for just a limited time. 20% off when you go to chatsports.com/DEN hoodie. Got to use that link, and also have to use that promo code POLAR. Fanatics, our friends over there, are always putting out awesome deals, and they've always got stuff going on sale and off sale. So depending on when you're watching this, it could be still on sale. It's 20% off, like $48. So make sure you use that link, though. I'll have it in the comments and the description of this video. Pretty dope deal if you ask me. Final story. This one comes from the Denver Post. They put out a call saying, boycott Week 18. I don't think it's that outlandish of an ask. I don't think it's going to happen. People spend money on season tickets. They have already invested their interest and time into this, and they can't sell the ticket for what they paid for it. But yeah, I'd love to send a message, because the Broncos the last couple of years have been not what the fan base knows this organization to be, which is a continuous success of winning. 6 straight seasons now without a postseason appearance. Last time they did that was 1976. 1976. That's a very long time for this team to not have gone to the postseason that long of a stretch. There's also a mark 5 straight seasons below 500. Basically since the year after the Super Bowl and Kubiak's final year, it's been downhill there. Vance Joseph, in his first career game, yeah, we won't bash that guy, but 5 straight seasons below 500 football since 2015. 39-57 overall. And the number that really upsets me the most is 22-26 at home. At what is supposed to be one of the hardest places for opposing teams to come to, they are winning more than they are losing on the road. Just epitome. It's just abysmal. It's a shame to Broncos country that comes out and is one of the best fan bases in the NFL and has proven to be, well, it was at one point proven to be one of the hardest places to play in the NFL. And now opposing teams are just walking in their big dick in the locker room and having no issue with pulling off a win at over 5,000 feet above sea level. It's embarrassing, and something needs to change, and everyone knows this. They've got the right piece in play at GM George Paton. I fully believe in him, but I think you are 2.5 pieces away from a winning football team, and that's a good head coach, and that's not saying Fangio's an awful head coach, but a head coach that has a proven track record on offense, because that's the direction of the NFL, a good quarterback, and a half-decent offensive coordinator. I mean, you can find that on the street, no problem. So that's what we got going on today's Broncos Breakdown. We'll see you later here on the channel, and enjoy the new year.